My dear brothers and sisters, this weekend the Easter season draws to a close, and we are launched into mission by the Holy Spirit as we celebrate the Feast of Pentecost. As recorded by Luke in the Acts of the Apostles, it is a scene of great drama: rushing wind, tongues of fire, the speaking of many languages. It is also a scene of inner transformation. Formerly timid disciples empowered to speak boldly in such a way that in spite of religious, cultural, and linguistic barriers, everyone hears the message, the good news, in a language they can understand. This is the power of God's Holy Spirit to break down walls of division, to foster the unity that is the Father's desire for all creation. From this outpouring of the Holy Spirit, the Church is born and reborn in every age. Now, in John's Gospel, the gift of the Spirit happens not 50 days after the resurrection, but on the very evening that Jesus rises from the dead. It is a more intimate and personal encounter, and Jesus imparts the Spirit on his disciples with gifts of peace, joy, forgiveness, and healing. This reminds us that the Spirit blows where the Spirit wills. Diverse manifestations of God's indwelling presence within us, transforming us within and equipping us for mission. How in this time of physical distancing are we called to place the mission of Christ, to announce the reign of God, to proclaim Jesus directly and explicitly, to reach out to the poor, the sick, and excluded, to foster unity where there is division, and to make and form missionary disciples to carry on the mission of Christ in the world? How do we place that at the center of our pastoral life? How do we shift from being what Pope Francis has called a self-referential church, focused primarily on preserving our structures, buildings, and practices, to becoming a mission-centered church, finding creative ways to both nurture our existing communities and welcome and integrate new members? I've been attending lots of webinars and Zoom meetings and read many articles online over the past few weeks which seek to answer these questions, and many have been helpful. But ultimately, we need the Holy Spirit, the one who is described in the beautiful Pentecost sequence as wise consoler, welcome guest, sweet refreshment, cool breeze, shining light, and indwelling presence. And as St. Paul reminds us this weekend, the Spirit is revealed in an amazing diversity of gifts, reflected in so many cultures and traditions, yet is always a unifying force, bringing all these gifts together in the service of the common good. We are a richly diverse community. We come from many lands. We speak different languages. We express our faith in a variety of devotions and spiritualities. We engage in diverse forms of mission and service. Yet in the Spirit, even in these times when it is still not yet possible for us to gather around the Lord's table in the Eucharist, we still form one body, and we do not stand alone. As has frequently been said, the church buildings may be closed, but the church remains open. I would like to thank everyone, priests, deacons, lay ministers, parish teams and staff, volunteers, who have used the means at their disposal, whether as simple as the phone or email, but also including live stream masses and devotions, online prayer, catechetical and evangelization activities, to continue to reach out and build up our community, and to continue to serve the poor, the elderly, the housebound, the isolated. As we prepare for the various phases of deconfinement and resumption, eventually, of our liturgical life, let us remember that in the Holy Spirit, we do indeed form one body. Let us stand together, filled by the Spirit. Recently, Father Philip Cherkop, a Jesuit, came to lead missions in several of our parishes. He composed a poem for Pentecost called Winds Blowing, which I would like to share with you. The strong wind of Pentecost blows deep within and through our fears. Not a gentle breeze, but a wind that kindles fire. A wind strong enough to awaken us from our slumber, requiring our attention and respect. It comes to dent our complacency and glossy exteriors, marking us as surely as the baptismal oil of our beginning. A wind violent and furious at times, wild enough to dry our moisture that we may thirst again for God's living waters. We don't need another Pentecost. We need to deploy the one we already have. So may the Holy Spirit continue to fill us and transform us from within and equip us for the mission to live as church, as Christ's body in the world. God bless you, everyone, and happy Pentecost.